Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Musum.
Hello.
Mina's a little under the weather this month, so she's going to take a knee. Send all your good thoughts to her. Hopefully she feels better soon. Let's get into what you've been playing this past month, Musum.
I have been playing real life. You don't have any time to play games for the most part, so I've
been a very busy month for both of us.
Aside from the phone games, I've managed to play two things, most of which were done in the past week and a half to 2 weeks. I picked up Collection of Mana. With the full intent, I've been dying to play. I never can say the Japanese name, but Secret of Mana 3, effectively Trials of Mana now.
Seiken Densetsu 3, I think.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll go with that. I have no idea. Yeah. So I bought it and I installed it, and then I was like, I'm gonna try Final Fantasy Adventure, and
yeah.
And I probably put a couple hours into that one. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea how to measure my progress in this game. At first I was like an arena fighter, and then I got kicked out, and then some guy was a bad guy and knocked me off a cliff, and now I met a princess named Red or something like that. I can't remember if I named her Red or if I must have named her that.
Yeah.
I forget every time who anyone is in this game.
It is very old. It is a Game Boy game, so it's sort of like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I think I'm progressing.
I'm surprised, though, about, it's a Game Boy game, definitely, but there's more functionality in the game than I expected there to be.
Oh, okay.
It still has, the weapon charge up, but, the story is very present. I guess in my mind, I think of Game Boy games as equivalent to, original Nintendo games, but,
right, just arcade ports.
Yeah.
And
and I think it's a bit more. It has way more story than, say, the original Final Fantasy in it.
Right.
And it has multiple, side characters you pick up, and it still has, the kind of Secret of Mana menu system that kind of twirls around, and weapon charges up, and one of your party members that you get turns out to be the bad guy at some point.
That's the stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, part of me thinks I might actually try and finish this one if I can ever figure out where I'm going.
Yeah. I've heard it's not super long.
I kind of feel that way. I feel like I glanced at a walkthrough, I think, a couple days ago for the first time, just to, I'd put it down. Gosh. You know what? I guess I picked this game up at the beginning of the month, played it off and on for a week and a half, and then stopped and just picked it up again last week. Because that's why I looked at the walkthrough. I'm I have no idea where I'm going or what I'm doing. And it's kind of Metroidvania-ish. You know what? Actually, it's more like a Zelda game where you need a new tool to cut these particular bushes to get into this new area type thing.
Right. And that's where the next dungeon is.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what a lot of this has been. So I'm hoping it's not too much longer. Maybe I can put another 5 or 10 hours and beat it. And it is enjoyable enough and simple enough for me that I think I have it in me to do it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I did briefly start a new game on Secret of Mana. I'm a whopping probably 20 minutes in, I got thrown off the log, picked up the sword, found out just how horrible my village is. For anyone that doesn't know, they just straight up kick you out and banish you from the village when they figure out that you've pulled the sword.
It's a wild 15-20 minutes at the beginning of that game.
Yeah. Anyway, I did that. I took the cannon world transport where they stuff you in a cannon and shoot you to the next location. And
I forgot about that.
Talk to the water princess, priestess, whatever she is, lady, and that is where I'm at. And I still have not started Trials of Mana.
Yeah, I feel like that one you need to dedicate your time to. I've heard it's not super difficult, but it's pretty big.
Yeah. like I played the intro before on like a hacked ROM type deal.
Yeah.
And it seemed super cool. And it is kind of my mentality of like, I'm so busy right now. I can't guarantee that I can follow through on this game. So I'm just going to put it off a month or so and then hopefully have time to really dig into it.
Right.
So the only other game I played is I downloaded the demo for Oninaki.
Okay, I tried to do this on my PS4 and it wouldn't let me, so I'm very curious to hear what this is.
Well, I downloaded it on my Switch.
Okay.
Mechanically, it is an action RPG, which seems to be mostly what I seem to be playing for Switch between looking at my last year of games of Shining Resonance and then Ease 8 or something like.
Right.
I'd probably throw it into something like that. But it's kind of what's that aspect called? I'm not going to remember.
Isometric?
Isometric, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
You got an isometric view, you have an attack and a dodge button, and then you have a daemon that follows you around that has different skill, like it has its own skill tree that you can earn points for.
Ooh.
And gain powers that you equip, and so you have buttons you can assign for that. The thing that hit me, like from the trailers, I always like the weird kind of ethereal artwork and style to it.
Yeah.
So the thing that they hit you with at the beginning of the demo, and like the demo, I guess, is just the game. They're just going to cut me off at some point, and they're only going to let me level up so long.
Right.
And I guess it'll transfer to the main game too.
Oh, okay.
But the game starts and your character's a little kid, and they're like, your parents are dead. And then some guy comes up and says, you aren't allowed to grieve for your parents, because if you do, their souls will feel bad for dying and they'll get lost and they won't go on.
Wow.
I'm like, that's
all right.
Like, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but it's basically what the dude said to him. It's super messed up.
Man.
And it turns out, like, the functionality of this world is a world where everything is reincarnated. So if the souls get sad or feel bad or whatnot, then they won't go off to get reincarnated. So they have this whole class. They have this whole class of warrior that their whole basis is finding these lost souls and getting them to move on. So your main character, I guess, goes and does that. And I guess the daemons are lost souls themselves. Like, one of the things that I think may just outright make me buy the game is in their skill tree, they actually have memories that you unlock. And the memories, to me, felt reminiscent of, like...
Lost Odyssey?
Yes.
Yeah. I was just about to say, like, man, if you're going to say Lost Odyssey, I'm going to really check out this game.
Like, they aren't like the little, like, mini novel, like, essay length things or shorter, but they are still, like, they had that vibe to them. Like, another game I guess I'd compare it to would be like a Shadow Hearts 1 or 2. I think both had something like that.
God, Shadow Hearts 2 was so good. Oh, God.
I need to go back to that series someday. I never beat the first one, and
I'm surprised that hasn't gotten a collection. Like, those first 3 games came out on PS2. From what I understand, they use the same engine. Like, put those out on a collection on PS4. Like, people love buying old RPGs on a collection and never playing them.
For real, I do it all the time.
Yep. Oh, I'd love to play Tales of Vesperia again. It's one of my favorites. Whoops.
Oh, man. Yeah. So the I don't know, like Oninaki is it's a little goofy because of how seriously like granted they should take like kind of dealing with death seriously, but because it's like when your main character, you know, it goes 20 years after he's a kid, and like you immediately find out like this is a terrible people person. Like,
right.
He finds his little kid spirit. And he's basically like, "Hey, quit being sad. You make your parents sad. You gotta move on."
Right. It's like, yeah, it's probably not the best sales pitch.
Yeah, like he doesn't seem like he would be good at his job, and I'm confused why they gave it to him. But
yeah,
I think the whole Damon aspect is really going to sell me because it seems cool. Like, it's the combat, like I played it on normal, the combat was light enough that I enjoyed it. They have a switching between like the living world and I don't know, dead world. I don't remember what they called it.
Yeah.
And like
that's cool.
The dead world's all like sectioned off, like you can only access certain parts of it if a spirit grants you those areas, and otherwise you're going to be walking through like blackness and die in one hit. And
wow.
It seemed goofy because of the overly serious nature of it.
Yeah, it's like too super serious.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds like it's up my alley.
And it having the demo, I mean, you can it looked fine on the Switch to me. It didn't seem like grainy like Ys 8 did, so I'm skeptical there will be much of a graphic difference between that Switch and PS4 on this one. But
right, not like Bloodstained, where you look at the two versions, you're like, ooh, that is significant.
Yeah. But that is all I've been playing.
We both have been playing Epic 7 as well, but I don't think there's really anything we've done that's kind of crazy. Like, I'm just leveling up and building my roster, and there's like a swimsuit event right now, of course, because it's a gacha game and it's summer. So of course they have to get all the scantily clad male and female units and get special versions of them. So it's pretty. I feel like I'm playing that a lot, and I'm playing virtually no Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, because I think Brave Exvius continues to go down the road it's been going down, which is more currencies and more events and more of this stuff that makes the game way too confusing, as opposed to Epic 7, where it's like, clear these levels, do X objectives, here's a list of them, and you'll get rewarded. Or don't. That's cool, we don't really care. It feels way better comparatively.
Yeah, I uninstalled Brave Exvius, actually. Like, I'm
getting close.
Completely out.
Yeah. And I think, this sounds crazy, but I think one of the things that I really like about Epic 7 is its auto battle is really intelligent. So like, even on difficult fights, it can do really well for you, where you don't have to worry about juggling this and debuffing and buffing and all this stuff. Like, it does pretty well. I don't want to make it sound like you never have to play Epic 7, but it's pretty smart. Instead of just like, you hit auto, now everybody attacks, and that's all they do. That's a problem with some other games. So.
And it's cool too on the auto battle, because they have, like, in the lower right hand corner, you can turn whether you want them to use their skills on or off. Which I accidentally press those buttons all the time, and usually when I die, it's because I've accidentally turned my healer's skill off or something.
Yeah, I usually turn those off for like really low level stuff if I'm farming, where it's like, hey, do 20 of these things. It's like, cool, I don't need you to do your whole giant anime intro giant attack. You just need to hit them once and the enemy will die. So like, let's not summon a monster from the deep or anything. Like, just hit him with the sword. Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, Epic 7 game is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're playing Epic 7, we do have a small guild going on. Just search for TVGP. Because if I remember correctly, I couldn't name it E1M1 because it won't allow numbers, which is interesting and fun. The only RPG I've been playing this month, because I haven't been playing a ton either, is Destiny 2. I know people are sick of hearing me talk about Destiny 2, so I'll keep it short. Moments of Triumph are here. That's basically a celebration of the entire last year of Destiny. There are 24 objectives. If you complete all of them, you'll get a new seal and you'll get a new title. It's 2019 Roman numerals. It's super cool. It's only here until the end of the month. The thing I like and I dislike about Moments of Triumph is it really is a celebration of people that have stuck with the game for the last year. So like, when Moments of Triumph dropped last month, I already had 14 things done. So like, because I play a little bit every week, I've done all of this stuff, clean up some of the stuff they just added, do some raids, and then I'll be done. For those that maybe want a specific objective, because they'll give you like 1 triumph is an emblem, 5 is a ship, 10 is like a sparrow or something, 15 is the t-shirt, which is the one I really want. So if you haven't been playing much this year and you maybe potentially have one of those objectives in mind, it might be a lot of grinding if you haven't played this year. If you're just starting out now, like, don't even worry about it. That's not really going to happen. But it's kind of interesting because you really want that title and you want that seal to reward people that have stuck with the game. But if you haven't, or you didn't like playing, let's say, The Reckoning, that most people didn't like playing that, maybe you'll have to play a bunch of that to get that objective done. So it's a lot better than it used to be in years past, where it's like, do all these raids and do all their challenges and do all the hard stuff. And it's just like, can I just, I don't, this is this part of the game I don't really enjoy. So I don't really want to do that. That being said, I do have to run some raids because they're all 3 raids from year 2. You just have to complete once for Moment's Triumph. So I did Last Wish with a Sherpa almost 2 months ago at this point. I was getting some other objective. So I did Scourge of the Past, which is probably the shortest raid that's out. That was a lot of fun. At the end of that, you fight a giant robot that the Fallen have managed to scrabble together. It has like a giant cannon on it and flies through the air. It's really cool. It's a fight like we haven't seen in Destiny yet. And I'd still have to do Crown of Sorrow, which is the last one. I'm waiting for the Sherpa that I like to run stuff with just started a new job, so he's not really running stuff yet. So I'm sort of waiting for his schedule to free up. I was going to talk about Tribute Hall. That came along at the same time, but that's a little bit inside baseball, so I'm going to skip that. They also just came out with Solstice of Heroes. Destiny has been a little bit crazy lately, where basically like we're getting non-stop content drops, and they're not big, but like 1 week will be like, hey, we've got this brand new thing in the game. It's a new rocket launcher, the exotic rocket launcher. I came back from Destiny 1. It's like, all right, cool. Next week, they're like, surprise, here's a new exotic hand cannon. Here's a brand new quest for you. It's like, all right, cool. Next week, they're like, hey, here's a brand new mode that's out. All right, let's go. It's like, oh, jeez, okay. Like, it's sort of this embarrassment of riches that keeps happening.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool because thankfully they don't front load this stuff anymore, and I feel like they've figured out how to do seasons better, where it's not just like, here's the thing, and then 4 weeks later the hard mode of that thing. They're really peppering stuff in. The Solstice of Heroes event is going on right now. That's the summer event. It's sort of infamous from year 1, where you get this ruined set of gear, and then by completing objectives, you upgrade it, and at the end, you get this really cool-looking purple set of gear. The real draw of that this year is Bungie and Shadowkeep is changing how armor works, with a sort of a transmog system, and they're changing how mods work. Like, all of armor is changing in a very significant way, in what looks like a very positive way. If you get the purple set of this gear, as soon as Shadowkeep drops, you can pick up that set of gear in its Armor 2.0 version, sort of day 1. So that's a really big appeal to say, here's the new system. If you go through the trouble of upgrading it now, you'll get a really cool reward, not only now, but as soon as Shadowkeep launches. You get to play with the cool new stuff right away. So that, I think that's a pretty cool benefit.
That seems pretty cool.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of smart stuff lately, and I think Destiny 2 is in a really solid spot, and that leaves me feeling very positively about Shadowkeep and New Light's release, which we will talk about in news stories here. But I've played some other stuff this month, but much of it has either been for TVGP's We Roguelike It, or Game Club, or games that I've kickstarted, and none of those are RPGs. So that's all I've been playing. Let's move on to RPG releases for August 2019. Pillars of Eternity Complete Edition comes out August 8th for the Switch. It seems like a really good platform for Pillars of Eternity.
I really want to see, I need to, I think it's already out on, PS4 and Xbox One, isn't it?
Yeah, it came out a while ago, I believe, yeah.
I wonder if that's on Xbox Game Pass or something. I have to see how this plays with the controller.
Yeah.
Because these are, the answer to that question is very important to me, because it's also going to affect how much I care about, Planescape Torment and Baldur's Gate and all that coming out on Switch.
Yeah, because those are the 3 more games. It's Planescape and both Baldur's Gates, I think, right?
They're there's 4 or 6 of them, because it's 2 Baldur's Gates, 2 Icewind Dales.
Oh, right.
The 3rd Baldur's Gate that's all new that Beamdog made, and then Planescape Torment. So yeah, 6 of them. Oh, Neverwinter Nights.
Right. So all of the RPG classics on PC you loved are coming out to everything, which is cool. But I think you're right. I think this is the same thing we were concerned about when Diablo 3 got announced for consoles. You're like, man, I don't know if this is going to work on a controller. And thankfully it does, and it does really well. But that's not as complicated a game as Pillars is.
Yeah, I feel like this style of CRPG you can throw in with a StarCraft or the original Warcrafts, in terms of, can you make this work right on a controller?
Right. And Divinity Original Sin did.
Huh?
But Divinity Original Sin did, but I think that's even smaller scope than Pillars.
Well, and Divinity Original Sin is turn-based, which helps it a lot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But I think I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
Do not know. I hope it works well. I need to experience it for myself to really judge, and then come up with $200 for that insane.
Right.
Here are all these games in one, and also you get a dice tray that looks like a beholder, and I forget what else it comes with. Anyway,
it's some other cool stuff. Yeah, and I would. My optimistic side of me would say, I hope they would figure out how to get all this running if they're going to release 7 to 10 games that are all sort of similarly controllable. But I guess we'll find out here in a couple of weeks. Oninaki comes out on the 22nd for PC, Switch, and PS4. I had originally written, this is Square Enix's new games. I have no idea what this is, but thankfully, Musim pretty much sold me on this. So I'm hoping that I can download the demo on PS4 to check that out. When I went to the store, it was here's the Oninaki demo, and there was no download button. It's just how do I do this? We were talking pre-show about PS4 library sharing, and my PS4 isn't the primary anymore because we're doing console sharing, so I can't just download it from the website and download it on my PS4. That downloads on my wife's PS4, so it's this real first world problems thing where it's just give me this demo, man.
And to be very clear, everything I told you about the game is the first half hour, tops.
Right.
I literally downloaded it at 4 o'clock in my time, which it's 6 o'clock my time right now.
Right. Right.
I did not spoil anything you won't immediately find out. So
right. The Bard's Tale 4 Director's Cut comes out on the 27th for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I feel like you and a lot of people were pretty up on that game when it first came out, and then it kind of, not that it was bad, but everyone kind of stopped talking about it.
Yeah, I had a friend who played through it that really liked it. I'm a little bit off put by it, honestly. It isn't really quite what I wanted out of that series. I think it'll control well with the controller for the console stuff, but the music for it's amazing. The character models are so bad, though. Like, they're egregiously bad. Like, they aren't like racist caricatures or anything. They're just like, between the character models being bad and then the game being like, for seemingly no reason, a resource hog. Like, I think that's the other part too. Is like, why is this a resource hog when like 20 to 30% of the game looks this bad? Like,
right, yeah, like how is it? Yeah. What's going on here? Yeah.
I don't know. I need to give it another chance, and maybe if I can. Gosh, and they don't list Switch on those releases either, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's slated to come out on Switch or not. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah. So that would be the ideal platform for me. I'm having a really hard time being the PC gamer I once was anymore.
Right. And lastly, World of Warcraft Classic coming out on the 27th for PC. I feel like you already know if you want to play that or not.
I thought that was already out for some reason. I
think they did like a demo week, like a beta week or something, and people were playing it. And there was that big news story about Blizzard opening that list of not bugs that people were running into, where it's like, no, these aren't bugs. Like, this is how World of Warcraft used to run.
Wow.
The game isn't broken. So that
awesome.
was pretty great. Let's talk about our news stories for this month. Just a couple ones here. Destiny 2 Shadowkeep and New Light have been delayed. They were originally going to come out September 17th. That is 4 days after Borderlands 3, which was sort of rough. But now it's going to come 2 weeks later, October 1st. So both of those games have been delayed until that time. So to recap here, Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, a standalone expansion to Destiny 2. If you haven't played Destiny 2, that's cool. You can pick up Shadowkeep and play it. If you have been playing Destiny 2, all your stuff just carries over. It's a normal expansion. New Light is the brand new thing for new players. Fire that up, create your character, 15-minute mission, and then it boosts you up to maximum level in light, and you can go play with your friends.
Awesome.
So you don't have to spend, all right, let's go through 4 expansions and 50 levels and a lot of time. You can still do that if you want, but you can just get in and play with your friends pretty quickly. Additionally, they've moved up the release date for cross-save. That's going to be coming later this month. So if you want to take advantage of cross-save, which you probably will, keep an eye on Bungie.net for that, and you'll be able to pick which account that is your primary account. And that will move between platforms. So I'm pretty happy they delayed this. This is the first content delay in Destiny's history. Oddly, it's the first one after they split with Activision. Weird. But I think that's a good sign. They came out and they very honestly said, like, we just need more time. It's getting there, but it's not there yet. It just needs a couple more weeks. And it's like, you know what? You want to take a couple more weeks so it's not totally broken on launch? 2 thumbs up. I will never be upset about that.
I mean, there has to have been a ton of restructuring like the last year anyway from them splitting with Activision too anyway, right?
Yeah, they did a big live stream after they announced the split and when they announced Shadowkeep and Cross-Save and New Light. They did a big live stream, and part of when they talked about the studio, because they did this live stream and like behind them were just dozens and dozens of Bungie employees working. Part of them were saying it's like they restructured every team across the company. So like everything is different. People have different roles. There are more people that are in senior roles and stuff. So it seems like not only are they doing a lot for the expansion, but they've had a lot of turmoil, sort of positive turmoil in the company, and I'm sure this is very much some fallout from that. So take more time. It gives me a little bit more time to play Borderlands 3, so that's okay. And lastly here, Atlus had a new Persona 5 Royal live stream. They showed off a new character in Mementos, Jose. He's a robotic boy that you find underneath, and what's interesting is he gives you a whole bunch of side missions, and he wants you to go do a whole bunch of stuff in Mementos, but he'll also take. There's a bunch of new, not currencies, but like items and consumables and stuff in Mementos. He's going to take that stuff and give you some stuff back. It doesn't seem specific about what he'll be giving you, but sounds like there's going to be much more stuff to do in Mementos this time around, which I think is pretty nice, because Mementos was fine before, but giving it some more stuff might make it a little bit less of a slog to get through.
Yeah.
Or maybe a place you'll want to go back to, as opposed to, I'm just going to get back to down to where I need to go and then not come back here for a month.
I mean, these Persona game expansions have never, like, they've always been amazing. Like, I mean, between FES or P3P or Golden,
right?
Like, they just always added like a metric ton of, here's an extra 12 hours onto this 100-hour thing. Like, it's...
Winemaker Joe in chat says, Persona 5, can you play as a female main character or all side characters? No female main character, and it doesn't... So far, they haven't said anything about playing as anyone other than Joker. The only other thing they did is they did detail some changes to Goro's confidant path. I don't even remember what those were called. Social links. They're changing his to where before in the game it would just, as the story progressed, you'd level up his confidant. This time now you have to seek him out and you have to go through a relationship with him like you did with all the other confidants. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna go, because I feel like there wasn't much more I wanted out of that dude in the story.
Yeah.
So kind of curious to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, they don't really have a what's his name? Ketchy? No, that's not his name. Who was the? I can't say that. Who was the cops helper in Persona 4?
Oh, yeah, that guy. Akechi.
Is it Akechi?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I mean, like, when they announced him for the Persona 4 Golden, you were like, ooh, that's going to be... Like, that has an intrigue to it. And I feel like we already saw all that Goro Akechi had.
It's
I don't know.
interesting. They also, this article on RPG Gamer also says that they added a new playable character, Kasumi, which I feel like with Atlus nowadays, like they're having the same problems with Catherine Full Body. I guess apparently Atlus doesn't want to release any English language details about upcoming games, so we will just continue to get confused by translations. So maybe Kasumi's a new playable character, or maybe she isn't. Who knows? I guess we'll find out when it lands next year in the US. So
yeah.
I don't know. I still feel like I didn't enjoy Persona 5 nearly as much as I enjoyed Persona 4. So when Persona 4 Golden got announced, it's like, yep, I'm going to play Persona 4 again. When Persona 5 Royal got announced, it's sort of like, I think I'm okay on Persona 5. And I feel like the stuff that they have shown here hasn't really made me more excited to play Persona 5 again.
I still like it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Right now I'm at that point in my life where, like, even games that normally I'd buy and play a little bit of and then shelve, like, I'm like, should I really be buying this? Like,
right.
I'm tight on money and I have no time right now.
Right.
Like, I think...
Especially for a game you've already played before.
Yeah, and, like, I bought 2 copies of Persona Q2. With the intention of, this comes with a cool plushie, and like one that'll make sure that I'll always have an extra one, and 2, I can eventually sell it someday. But I still haven't even opened the copy that I'm gonna play myself. And like the thought of doing another 100-hour RPG right now is daunting to me at the moment. I'm hoping,
especially if it's not on the Switch.
Yeah. portability matters a lot right now in my life.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that maybe in the next few months I'll get there, and I have no idea if I'll be willing to spend another. Persona 5 was what, 60 hours, something like that.
I cleared in 130.
Oh.
So like I platinumed it, but like I think my first playthrough was legitimately 100 hours. So
yeah, and I'm partway through my second playthrough, and like every time I turn on that game, I'm like, oh right, the music for this game is absolutely amazing,
and the UI is great, and voice acting's pretty good.
But like I don't know if I have it in me to go through what's her name's dungeon again.
Yeah, there's a couple dungeons in there, like the Futaba dungeon.
Yes, that's the exact one I was thinking of. Especially without like my previous save game. Like that would make all the difference with this relief. Just say, let me transfer my save file over.
Right. I can take some super powered. I can pull out Satan and bring her with me into the dungeon, and that'll be super easy.
Yes. Just let me do that.
Winemaker Joe in chat says, I played Persona 5 on PS3, so I'm grabbing Royal on PS4 anyway. I keep forgetting that Persona 5 came out on PS3, so if you played it on PS3, Royal is probably like a double upgrade. You get all the cool stuff, and you get like 1080p and all the I think it's a better frame rate too. It looks a little bit better on PS4, so that's a great point. Thank you for reminding us that that is happening. And we do have a question from Angel Eye in chat. What RPGs are you looking forward to the most in the next few years?
Well, I'll skip the obvious next spring release of FF7 Cyberpunk. Right now, I heard that everyone can die in Outer Worlds. I'm ready for that new Obsidian weird Fallout space RPG. Give it to me. I'm keeping Game Pass just so I will absolutely be able to afford it when it comes out.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that game, but yes, I'm very excited about that. The obvious for me are like Destiny 2 and Borderlands 3. Like I feel like those are mostly givens. I feel like I don't know enough about the remake of Trials of Mana, because they have the Super NES version on the Collection of Mana, but they're doing a full 3D remake that I feel like could be pretty cool.
Yeah, like the trailer they showed looked really cool. It's just that Secret of Mana remake was so everyone reviled it so much. I'm pretty excited. It's not quite an RPG, but I'm pretty excited for Daemon X Machina. And what's that other one? Like I don't exactly know what it is, but I like the people who made it.
Is that Astral Chain?
Yes.
Yeah, I keep seeing that where it's like, yeah, I'm still not sure what you are, but I like a lot of the pedigree there.
I'm excited to see what that is. It's become very apparent to me from listening to all the podcasts comparing this latest Fire Emblem to Persona that I have to play the latest Fire Emblem at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know how to fit that in my life.
Yeah. Angel Eye in chat says, will be on Game Pass as it's not published by Microsoft. If I remember correctly, Outer Worlds, which I think he's asking about, I believe Outer Worlds is on Game Pass. I think they cut a deal, even though they don't... brand new games don't have to be published by Microsoft to show up on Game Pass, but most publishers aren't going to, because it's like, well, here's my brand new $60 game. Why would I give it away for free? But some developers have our wallets in mind.
Yeah. Like, I'd like to... the spender in me still wants to get that, like, the physical copy of the game, whatever special edition they have of it, but I am broke. We've had enough, like, life things happen. We need to replenish our savings right now, so I'm looking for corners to cut, and a game that I can play on Game Pass versus paying $60 to $150 for is the way to go. So
100%. I'm interested in Torchlight 2. I know that's definitely not a new game. It's coming out next month on consoles. But I played the 360 version of Torchlight 1 a lot, and I never really got into Torchlight 2. It sort of landed at the wrong time. So I'm more than happy to spend the $20 on what is hopefully another good console port of a Torchlight game.
Oh, right. Astral Chain was done by Platinum Games, right?
Ah, gotcha. That's why, yeah.
And
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 comes out early next year.
Right.
I have never played that first one, and I probably will never get around to it as much as I want to. I'm very curious about this new one.
Yeah, I mean, it has... I just forgot his name. Chris...
Avalon?
Yeah, he's one of the writers on it.
Yep.
I can't remember the lady's name, but they had another female writer on it that's really good. And I mean, it's Vampire Deus Ex.
Yeah.
That sounds like the first one was that, and I bet the second one, to a degree, is going to be that as well. So I don't see how it's not going to be a good game.
Kara Ellison is one of the writers of...
Yeah.
That's Brian Mitsoda is one of the other ones. Yeah, a lot of good writers on that game.
I feel like we're going to have a really good, 2020, I think, is going to be another year of RPG.
Yeah, especially like you mentioned, the Final Fantasy VII remake, which I am, contrary to what I would have expected, I'm really excited about. Yeah. Cyberpunk 2077, I'm feeling pretty cool on, but I'm still definitely interested in that. There's a game here in this list called Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. I don't know what that is, but that's a really metal game title.
And Werewolf the Apocalypse, is part of the World's Darkness, so it's associated with Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I didn't know they were coming out with a game. Huh.
Yeah. Interesting. Action role-playing game developed by Cyanide and published by Big Ben.
I don't know.
Based on White Wolf's tabletop role-playing game, Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Man, they're really making moves with that license, aren't they?
Yeah. Might as well, man. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on the horizon. Shin Megami Tensei 5, obviously, but we're not going to see anything serious about that for a while. They announced that. I think they realized they announced that pretty early.
They've been very radio silent on it.
Yeah. Other than saying, we're working on it. Yeah. Things are going well.
I keep hoping that studio will announce, something about that, or Persona 6, or, another weird side story game. And it just hasn't happened yet, which is fine, because I don't have time. But,
yeah. Or at least, a collection of, the first couple SMT games, the ones that came out for, the Amiga and the NES. We never got that stuff here, except for an iOS port that doesn't work anymore. It'd be cool if we could get some of that stuff for Switch at least.
Yeah. I'm sure, I'm trying to think of the Kickstarters I've backed.
Oh, yeah.
Stygian is about to come out. That's a H.P. Lovecraft horror RPG thing. That's kind of a cool art style, but it's by a team that I don't think has been tested yet, so I don't know if it'll be good. And that was one of those I was like, $15, sure.
Yeah, I'll help you guys out, yeah.
And that's due out in September, I think.
I don't think I've kickstarted anything. I think most of my stuff has come out already. Angel Eye says maybe they'll put Tokyo Mirage Sessions on Switch to promote the new game. I still really hope they will, because I never got around to playing it, and I feel like it came out so late in the Wii U's life cycle that most people weren't playing games on their Wii U anyway. So it'd be nice if that would come out.
I like that game so much. Some of those dungeons are a little bit hard to deal with, because it's kind of you can see in the dungeons for that game that it was the basis for the Persona 5 dungeon puzzles.
Right.
But they were relying on you looking at two screens to complete the dungeons in Tokyo Mirage Sessions. But it is also a game that has this just feel good Japanese pop kind of music feel to the whole thing, and everything about it is for the most part super uplifting and positive. So it's a game that just immediately puts me in a good mood, and just talking about it is oh right, I started that second playthrough, I need to go back and finish that.
Yeah, I loved that game. Yeah. I don't think there's really anything.
Boyfriend Dungeon. I am hyped for that game.
Yeah, Boyfriend Dungeon looks super cool. Yeah, where you date your weapons. I think that's one of those games where it's like, they announce it and they're like, what if you play an RPG where you date your weapons? It's like, I don't care what game you're making, I'm interested. That sounds super cool.
And it's the team that did that other game I liked. That I'm just not going to remember the name of anything today.
That's all right.
Nope, it's gone. I have no idea what it's called. They made another game I liked. That's all that matters.
I feel like 2020... I feel like if you had asked us this maybe this time last year, we would have had this laundry list of stuff that's coming out beginning of 2020. You know, I feel like there have been all these RPGs that have been saved up for the last 2 years or so, and we're just going to all get them next year, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah. I'm going through my Kickstarter list now. Oh, here's another one I backed. It's called Kingdom of Night. That's the game that they advertised as an 80s action RPG, Diablo meets Earthbound. So it's
okay. That sounds interesting.
Like kind of Stranger Things Diablo from the trailer.
Right. That's cool.
But who knows when that's going to come out? And I don't know who made. That's another $15 backer thing for me.
Right.
Never heard.
You
of
get a digital
people,
copy.
But you guys have a cool idea.
Yeah. That's all the ones we can think about. So I think it's time for us to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Get all the behind-the-scenes and early access stuff. The $5 a month level is the best one. That's just $5 a month. It's super cheap, and it helps me pay for the show. Because, boy, this stuff is not cheap. What else? You can listen to Musum and I on TVGP's Game Club. Right now we're playing Orwell. It's a great game. You should go play it. Where else can we find you on the internet, Musum?
You can find my hub for all things musical at jbaudio.net. And that's probably it.
You can find all my shows at e1m1.com. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next month.
Bye.